All right, morning guys. I hope you're doing well today. Thank you for tuning in. As always, very grateful. Hope everyone's well. Shout out to all the subscribers. Welcome along anybody new. This video is going to be about repetition and just how powerful it is, from either whether you're just first starting out as a beginner or a complete, professional that's still trying to master their craft, because, repetition will improve your technique or whatever you're trying to work on. Obviously, the right repetition, you want to practice it the right way, meaning you don't want to program yourself in the wrong way, right? For example, if I'm working on, let's just say, a cross, and I want to just shoot across, boom, this is pretty good, not too bad. But if let's just say I drop my hand here and I'm working on the cross like this, and I'm doing a lot of reps, but my hand is dropped, I'm going to program myself to do that. So it's really important that you get good efficiency when you're performing repetition. And as I said, you can literally work on anything, but you should really get to the point of where you're absolutely sick of what you're doing. That's when you're repeating it enough times, right? And then you got to break through that and keep going and doing it more and more and more and more and more. And that goes for punching. You could repeat the pivot, front foot pivot, right? You could put slips in, rolls in, pivot, keep pivoting, keep doing it until you're sick of it, like I said. And one key thing to do too, that I think really helps with the repetition, is to record yourself. I've spoken about that many times, because you can see the mistakes, right? Sometimes, if I'm punching like this, and I'm throwing a jab and my hand comes here just slightly, right? And I'm just like, bam, like that. And sometimes it feels, I can see it in the side of my head, boom, oh, it's right on my chin. But really, it's just below my chin, okay? And you do have this false sense of how good your technique is sometimes, right? Yes, of course, if I really put it on the side of my head here, and I start popping jabs, boom, it's definitely there. But is my elbow on my rib cage? Sometimes I watch myself back, and sometimes my right elbow sneaks up here, right? And I don't really notice it, and then I watch these videos back, and all of a sudden I can correct myself, right? From watching it back. Very powerful. But the repetition is extraordinarily powerful. And as I said, you can work on just about anything. You can refine your technique, you can perfect it, or get close to perfection by repetition, whatever moves you're doing. If you're a beginner here, welcome along. I strongly recommend you repeat, basic stuff. Even if you're just starting out, step forward, step back. Make sure you're in a good stance. Make sure your feet are nice and balanced and they're, a good width apart. You got a good stance. And your chin is down. Your hands are up. Step, step. Then you can go left, right, punch, step, punch. You get what I mean? But you got to really do it hundreds and hundreds of times. Just to start with, you have to keep doing it hundreds of times until you're out of the sport, basically. But my point is, you have to do the repetition for everything if you want to get better at it, right? And like I said, record yourself so you understand what you're looking at. If you're a complete beginner and you really don't know straight away, recording yourself might be a bit early, I understand that, but it certainly doesn't hurt, especially if I'm letting you know, or you've researched other channels that have let you know what to do and what not to do, and you understand what to do, like keeping your hands up when you're punching, right? Like, I don't want to do this when I'm punching here and bring them back here, right? If you repeat that over and over, guess what's going to happen when you start sparring? That same error is going to come back immediately, right? And guess what's going to happen? Not always, but if I'm doing this, boom, boom, and my hands are coming back here, then I'm programming myself to bring my hands back to my chin. Now, when you are in a sparring situation or a fighting situation, a lot's going on, a lot can happen, and so probably a good chance you are going to drop your hands, right? But you can give yourself the best opportunity to not do that by programming yourself with repetition, good repetition. So anyway, I'm going to move on to another place and continue this and demonstrate just how to repeat certain punches, certain footworks, so you can get started and do it at home. If you don't have a gym to go to, there's a lot of people that have commented over the last year that they have a limited amount of space, or they're at home, or you know, what can be done. So I've got a few little tips for you, you know, because being stealth and being quiet with your footwork is really what you should be doing anyway. There's no reason why you can't do this at home, right? Repeat that. Watch a movie if you want, you know, keep it interesting. Or sometimes if you really want to push it, watch something that you can learn from at the same time. That's really pushing your brain. Maybe in a few months, but anyway, let's go. Yeah, anytime you throw on a professional game, and even in the warm-up, right? Let's just say it's the NFL or football in the Premier League, right? They're passing it, kicking it, throwing it, probably hundreds of times before the game. Do the same thing in practice. They do the same thing all their life, looking to just consistently improve. And that the word consistent is the key word here. Repetition, I was going to say breeds consistency. Perhaps it does, but it is the road to consistency, right? The more reps you do, the more consistent you can get. So it's just a question of putting the reps in, but doing it correctly, right? And as I said about the 1-2, right? And this is why recording yourself is so important, because you could be doing 1-2s like this. You're not putting any hip movement into it. Your hands are here, you're doing a 1-2, 1-2, you know. That's gonna harm you in the long run, right? Elbows right here. Let me move forward a little bit. Nice and relaxed, good stance as always. 1-2. And then you can speed the 2 up if you get a bit more advanced, right? 1-2, like that. And then turn those hips. 1-2, back to the chin. All right, punch from the chin. And this hand comes straight back to the chin, right? Bam, 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 bam. And it stays here. Keep your balance. Stay relaxed. Snap the punch, right? It doesn't have to be a 1-2, it can be a left hook. Turn those hips. You don't have to turn the front foot. It's a bit of a debated topic. Boom. I think it could depend on where your opponent is, how much leverage you want to get, how much rotation you want to get. Ideally, you should, but you don't have to, right? Boom. Like this. Or you could just take your time too. That's important as well. You don't have to go full strength. You know, I'm just demonstrating just a natural hook for me, but you know, I like slowing it down as well, just to get the fluidity, right? Boom. Hook comes in, boom, right back to the chin. And you can even throw a pivot in there too, right? Pivot, hook, roll. Pivot, hook, roll. So throw in more than one thing at once you start to get more advanced. But if you are a beginner, then I would just work on what you need to work on, because you can cloud your brain a little bit and overwhelm yourself. So keep it simple, get the reps in, search for that consistency, try to get the best out of yourself. That's what this channel is about. That's what I'm doing every day down here. I watch myself back and I'm like, oh, I could do this better, I could do that better. I go home and I just critique myself all the time, because I want to just get as good as I possibly can be, even though, you know, I'm an old man. It doesn't really matter. I'm not trying to fight. You know, I find that we should feel a little bit, to be honest with you. I'm a far better teacher. I'm a far better fighter than I was a boxer. But it's a story for another day. But I do enjoy, you know, passing down the wisdom that I was taught, which was, gee, how to do with these stun sets, the Gleason's gym that I studied and all from that as well. So, anyway, there's the dog coming into the picture. Let's go to another scene and just end on a little outro. Yeah, so repetition. That is going to be one of your greatest weapons when it comes to training. That, shadow boxing, you know, that appears to be a bit of a dying art, if you will. It's one of the most valuable exercises you can do as a boxer. You can again work on absolutely anything. You can perfect your craft. You can build up your cardio. You can work on your balance. It's endless, you know. And you know, at least 6 to 8 every single time you go to the gym, if you are preparing for a fight, that is, you know. And but even if you're just, you know, training and trying to get better, wait until the summer comes, you know, and you're outside in May and that first day of spring comes, or wherever summer is with you, and you can shadow box a little bit, and you're getting the rays from the sun, you're getting the exercise, you had a good night's sleep, you're in nature, it's gonna really make you so strong up here. And this is the biggest muscle you need to work on, yeah? This, your mind. So, and doing that, repetition will build confidence too, because you're gonna get better at the technique, right? And you're gonna understand what you're doing wrong, you're gonna understand what you need to improve on, and you're gonna start to get to that consistency, which is, you know, as I said before, where a lot of pro athletes, you watch them and they're just drilling. Steph Curry, Kobe Bryant, Tom Brady, Djokovic, they're obsessed with repetition, really. You got to be obsessed with repeating the same thing over and over. You got to break past the part where it just gets so annoying you don't want to do it anymore. That becomes discipline, right? You got to push all this through all this stuff. Excuse the builders. But that's it for today. You can do this at home, right? Some of the drills that I worked on, light footwork, back and forth, back and forth. Are you keeping your stance? Ask yourself all the questions. Are you balanced? Are your hands up? Are your elbows in the rib cage? Is your chin tucked down? Put a film on, you know? Or watch a documentary, or watch something that you might find will help learn something else. You know, I'm obsessed with learning. So every time I'm trying to learn, I try to play the keyboard, I put something else on that I want to learn as well. I'm doing two things at once. It's a bit much sometimes, but I'm not saying you should do that. I'm just saying, you know, there's ways, funner ways to just be boring and repetition like this. You know, that's great, that's disciplined, but, you know, cut yourself a bit of slack if you're a beginner. Just get the reps in and record yourself if you can, and keep doing it over and over. Rinse, repeat. Anyway, that is it from me. As always, very grateful if you made it this far. Smash the like button if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you're new. I've got loads of more videos like this where there's less editing, but I'm just gonna try and speak freely from the center of my chest, and hope you guys get the message, because, you know, it's gonna be a good, exciting year this year if you get your head down and you do what you're supposed to be doing. Whatever you wanna do, you know, just be the best you can. I'm out.